So we have James Robbins here. Man, phenomenal career. Apple, Panasonic, and all of these things, and now at Dynabook. But hey, where we always first start is, where were you before working together? Because you are probably the most successful sales leader I've ever worked with, right? And at what point, because recruiting and getting a job and stuff is sales, what prompted you, right? Where were you before working with us? Like, what was going on?
Yeah, so here, yeah, and that's a great introduction. I appreciate that, Tim. I got to be honest. Yeah, I've had a great and blessed career in sales. My last role was at Apple, running sales in 102 countries, $4 billion in revenue. I can sell most products. I'll be honest, the thing I was most challenged in selling was myself. And the value that I got out of the program was really thinking about the job search in a much different way. It was about, what value can I bring to an organization? How do I position myself to add that value? How to find the organizations that I wanted to go after. Because going through websites and going through Indeed and LinkedIn, man, that's an exercise in futility. I couldn't tell you how many of the Dear John emails I got throughout all that time. Super frustrating process. So yeah, I would say if I really looked at the core value, it was really thinking about changing the way I think about myself and selling myself as a product and a service was huge. Helping the mental state. You do a lot on just, your awareness of self, your awareness of your thought process, the care and feeding you have to do around that, because finding a job is hard work. Yeah. And it's kind of, I started using this word, especially when you deal with like the HR systems, it's kind of soul crushing, man. It really is. It is a brutal process. And so I feel like you've done a really good job of helping people think about their candidacy in a different way and the value that they add, and just playing a good mental game. But yeah, I mean, you really helped me finally sell the number one product I should have been able to sell a lot better, and that was myself. And as a result, man, I landed a dream job. So
excellent. I do know too. I remember when we were updating even your resume and your profile, when you went through Katie and me and Kara were talking, et cetera, and we were like, you just said 4 billion and this at Apple and all this stuff. We weren't even highlighting a lot of that stuff, right? So no. I was like, James, we have to tell people that you were responsible for 4 billion and these people and in these countries. And once you already, you had that, but once we put that together, not only did it help brand you well to get a hold of other decision makers, it kind of give you ammunition when you're on those to say, oh yeah, this bullet point and this, to highlight those things during the conversation. And you already answered my question, is number 2 is, at what point did you say you need help? Which is, hey, selling yourself, which a lot of people don't like to do, because they think if they do that, they're coming across as cocky and arrogant, when in reality, we're just logical stating the value that we've done at our prior organizations. And, if you don't do that, imagine it being at Apple and going to someone saying, we have a mediocre product at a mediocre price and this, and it does mediocre things. When can we get started? They're going to be like, dude, get out of here.
Exactly. Right? And one of the other things that you really helped me with was engaging my network. I've never had to look for a job. I've always been, literally since I was 20 years old, I've been recruited from one role to the next. And so I never really thought about engaging my network. I mean, I thought about it, but I always felt like it's going to be a burden. I don't want to burden those people in which I have relationships with. And after talking with you and the rest of the team, one of the things that I realized, and I knew this from my own personal experience in the back of my mind, but you always just kind of discount what you already know sometimes until someone else tells you, is that your network wants you to be successful. They want to help you. Every time I reached out to someone, they couldn't help me enough. Like it was so heartwarming to see how many people, even if they were just a passing acquaintance, were more than happy to make an introduction or to, help me find a way to get to the hiring manager or help uncover new roles. There's no way I would have had any of the opportunities that I had come up, like through the consulting that I ended up doing or the role that I landed, had I not engaged my network. 100% of anything that activity that happened was a result of engaging with my network.
Yeah, I remember Shantanu, he got the largest increase of all time they're ever working together. And imagine being unemployed for 9 months and then 60 days of working together. You had some people that could have helped you the whole time. I think the problem is my first thing I would say is, hey, if you can't ask people that you already know, how are you going to ask a stranger?
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of people don't know how to ask. Like, for instance, I see it on LinkedIn all the time. People say, I'm looking for a job. Can you help me? And we're like, where are you looking? What are you targeting? What income range and all of this? Or people just randomly send out their resume to people in their network. And that just doesn't work, So I don't think a lot of people approach it the right way, which is, and they don't know how to ask. Right. So I think a lot of people struggle there. And
I was going to say, circle back to your Champagne story, right? Like, he literally got a job from someone he had worked with. I mean, if you think about my journey, I'm back where I started my career 25 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. I started as a wet behind the ears sales rep to now I'm going to be running the company. And it really comes down to my network, right? I put out to the network that this is what I've done, using the bullet points and the talk track that you guys helped me develop. Ultimately put that out to my network. And as a result, they're like, whoa, crap, we can get this guy to come back to the organization and come lead the company and lead sales. Had I not engaged the network, it never would have happened. I'd never be in the role that I am today. So it's
the other thing is just the people you met inside the community too. There's many people. I don't know if you remember talking to Ed Warner. I know you talked to Parker. All of these people who are leaders in other organizations, plus with the automation that we use, we've literally, I don't know how many connections you had prior to work together, but we can both agree that substantial, you're connected to a lot more influencers in many different domains that you can utilize later throughout your career, which is very valuable.
Yeah, the community, I mean, I really enjoyed, the Tuesday and Friday calls and hearing what other people are doing. And I can't tell it, but I have the gift of gab. So I loved participating in those calls and then finding out where people need help and reaching out and helping. And that's one thing I noticed, even within the community. If you said, hey, I'm interviewing here, or I've got a question about this, there's like 4 or 5 people that are always jumping in wanting to help. So, it's great to, you kind of have the network within the network. And that's what really the program, I think, fosters, is that we're all in this together, right? Everybody's looking for a job. We can all help one another. And there's a really good community within a community that the program really does set up.
Excellent. Last question we always ask everyone, right, is what advice for you have someone who's considering working with us, say they're right here, right now, and they're on their edge, right? Meaning, will this work for me? I'm not sure. I haven't interviewed in 20 years. What would you say to some of those people if they rewatched this video?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of started it in the beginning, right? I've led huge global sales organizations, and I can obviously, talk pretty well and put a story together, but you guys are experts at what you do. The people that you work with are all experts. I'm an expert at sales and IT, and you've got folks all over. You guys are experts in the people business, right? So you know how to talk to people, you know how to place people, you know how to help people work with other people. You guys are kind of the ninjas of the people space. And without that, I would have never landed the roles that I've done, and I've never would have had the conversations. You guys really were key in helping me understand, at least when it comes to the job interaction part of sales. I've not met anybody better at it than you guys, and huge value in the program.